Awesome. Welcome to this video. I am Lidge and this is Recording Studio Rockstars. And in this video, I want to take a quick look at the new Brainworx BX Glue plugin that has just come out. Just got this version of it this week. So this comes in from Plugin Alliance and it's from Brainworx. And it's a compression plugin that you can put on various elements in your mix, put it across your 2-mix. You can use it for mastering. It's just a very, very versatile plugin that has a whole lot of cool features on it. So let me jump right in. Oh, also right now it's on sale for $99. Normally it's $189. So that's half off, just about right there. So let me jump in and we'll just quickly look at the website and see what features they're talking about. Then I've got a Logic session open and I'm going to show you what it sounds like using some of the new built-in features of Logic, actually, the session drummer, session bass, and session keys, and then we'll hear it on the mix. So I'll just give you a quick run through. All right, so right here, we've got the overview. It says it's got the sound of the greatest British-made VCA compressors of the 1980s. So I assume that's talking about like the SSL style quad compression, VCA compression. And then it says analog glue compression that goes beyond digital multiband. The multiband capabilities in BX Glue allow you to compress low and high frequency content independently. So it actually has a crossover feature in it where you can treat the low end and the high end a little bit differently and get even more control over your sound, which is pretty cool for individual tracks and then also for the 2-mix. You can set band length to 100%. Or you can use the band tilt parameter and you can have some EQ adjustments to affect the compression differently in the highs or the lows. I guess that's a good way to put it. Legacy of VSA compression in one plugin. You can create the character of almost any VCA compressor with the rich tone selection, so that's cool. From light and heavy saturation with the XL saturation knob. So it has built-in saturation features that you might expect from compressors that have transformers inside. And that's going to be cool to check out. It's also got a nickel and an iron input transformer option, which will be cool to see. And then you've got classic and dirty flavors and total harmonic distortion control. And then it says you can tame transients and protect your tonal balance. BX Glue's emphasis section gives you the perfect combination of character and control. Precisely and aggressively target unwanted frequencies, pre-compression, and de-emphasize post to eliminate harsh frequencies while maintaining the tonal balance of your tracks. Vintage glue for buses and groups, exactly what the quality VCA compressor should. Snap, character, and cohesion for subgroups and stereo buses. So, right, like I said, this is going to be cool on individual instruments, also cool on subgroups of instruments like your drum group or your guitars or vocals, and also great on the 2-mix. So it's a very flexible plugin you can use in a lot of places. Some of the features listed, dual band compressor inspired by legendary British bus compressors, detailed input, output, and gain reduction meters. So you've got lots of metering we'll be able to see. Auto gain as well. So like you're used to in some plugins, you can just turn on the auto gain and start compressing and you can hear what it's doing to the sound as opposed to just hearing the sound get louder and kind of fooling your ear. You have the ability to match and replicate almost any VCA compressor's character. Classic VCA compressor in a modern 2-band matrix, right? Stereo compressor with a single set of controls. Sophisticated tilt tub emphasis. This is actually my introduction to the word tub. I know what tilt EQ is. It's like you're tilting it towards the highs or tilting it towards the lows, but I haven't heard of tub emphasis yet, so that's cool. So we'll check that out as well. Oh, I think tub actually might be like the smiley face curve for EQ. So if you're just like loudness boost, if you're boosting the lows and the highs, or you're de-emphasizing them so there's more mids. You have classic and dirty total harmonic distortion, THD. Yeah, this is repeating what we already just read, nickel and iron transformers. All right, cool. So let me flip over here And I've got a Logic session open, and we'll just kind of quickly look at this. So right now, this is the newest, latest Logic. What is it, 11, right? Isn't that the newest one about Logic? Yeah, version 11. And it's got session drummer in it. It's got session bass player and session keys. So if you're looking to write songs and you just want to use those as your backdrop to write songs over or sing over, there you go. If you want to play guitar and just have a backup band in Logic, you can create one quickly. So what I've done is I've put this together. Here's what that sounds like without adding any of the BX glue just yet. So pretty cool, right? You got basic drum sounds, you got bass in there, and you got some piano sounds in there too. And then this is arranged so it kind of goes through a fill and then goes into the verse, goes over another fill, and then into the chorus section. So you hear some basic sounds, right? All right, so now let me flip over to the mixer and we will pull up the BX glue. I've got it preloaded here, and here's what it looks like. So a quick look at what you're seeing in BX glue. You've got the metering area up at the top here. You've got gain reduction that I believe you can see over on when this is bouncing. We'll start to see this move. Actually, let me. I don't want to do this. No, I'll just point out what's here. You got the metering up here, so you'll be able to see input, gain reduction, output, and the band split. And then you have things you would expect, like the ratio knob here. Right now, I've got some presets pulled up, which I'll show you in a moment. It's set to 10:1. You've got a threshold where you can drop the threshold lower, get more compression, move the threshold up, get less. You've got the crossover here. So it's right now at the moment, it's defaulting to 300 Hertz. Band link is 100%. So you're trying to compress the lows and the highs together. I guess if you unlink them, then I guess it'll compress differently depending on whether the lows want to do more compression or the highs want to do more compression. And then you've got a band tilt feature here. Then you have also attack and release, which you would expect. You have an auto release button as well. And then down here below that, you've got the tone section. So you have this XL%. So that is like your saturation levels, how much of that you want to add to the sound. In the third harmonic distortion, you can either turn it off, you can switch it to classic tone or dirty tone. And then over here in the transformer, you can switch that to off, or you can turn on the nickel transformer emulator or the iron transformer. So that's very cool. And we've seen that in some other plugins as well. And it's nice to have those features. And of course, a nickel and an iron transformer are not something you would typically expect in an old SSL quad compressor. So this is adding all these features of some of the other compressors, British style ones, and sort of giving you a little bit of everything in this guy. So it's pretty cool. Then you have a mix knob, which will let you do 100% of the compression, or you could do just 100% of the dry signal, or use this and bring it up a little bit to get kind of like a blended parallel sound. But we'll leave it at 100% for now. Then you have your levels area where you have control over the input level going into the compressor. You have a headroom button or knob, which is cool. That is like, at what point is the headroom going to get squeezed on this sound where things like the tone characteristics start kicking in? It's like as if like the headroom is like when you push the sound into this, at what point are you pushing it hot enough to get it to start showing its characteristics? And then you have an output level here, and then you have auto. And again, that's the auto gain feature. So as you're compressing things and maybe bringing the sound level down a little bit, the auto gain will gain it up. It's similar to what the Logic compressor would do. So when you adjust the threshold, you hear a steady state level, but you're hearing the effects of the compression while you're making your decisions, which is very cool. Then down in the sidechain section, you have a little more advanced stuff. Let's see, you have a filter. You can do a high pass filter on the sidechain. So if you want the lows to affect the compression less, despite having this this band split feature, if you want to like have the subs or heavy bass music not affect your compressor, you can scoot this high pass filter up so that the lows kind of pass through untouched. And then you have external sidechain button and let's see, what is this? Internal gain. I think you can, I guess that is maybe, I'll have to look on this one, but I believe this might either be the gain setting of the external sidechain going in to hit the compression, or maybe INT gain stands for internal gain, where you can blend in your the signal that's coming through as well as the external compression and blend the two for the sidechain, which would be a cool feature. And that'd be something that was a first as well for me. All right, then you move on here and you have the emphasis section. This is where you have a little bit of EQ control over things. You've got the, and sure enough, tilt right here gives you like a tilt EQ where it's like more highs, less lows, or more lows, less highs. And the emphasis is how much tilt it's doing. And then the frequency is at what point is it tilting. Think about the frequency like being a tilt EQ, like being a seesaw, and that frequency moving the center of the seesaw towards the highs more, towards the lows, so that you can adjust it. And then tub, which I don't actually know what tub stands for, sorry. But that is, like I said, it's more of a smiley face. So you're boosting the lows and the highs. So if I boost that up, you get a lot of low and high boosts. Actually, it looks like it's boosting the whole thing, to be honest. And then if you cut it back, then it's cutting the lows and the highs, and you end up with more boost in the midsection. So that could be very cool for really sort of like tweaking the tone of your mix when you get a little more dialed in and stuff like that. And then frequency, again, same thing with the tub as with the tilt. Okay, and then the last thing here is the stereo area, which is one of the features that's somewhat unique to Plugin Alliance and very cool and comes included in a lot of their plugins, where you have a mono maker, which basically essentially takes a cutoff frequency. It's like a low pass, high pass. So the lows come through and it makes everything below the frequency that you select in mono, which means that you have much more coherent low end. It's better for dance music and EDM. It's better for anything that you want to end up on a vinyl record, for example, because you don't want your low frequencies being a little out of phase from each other in your left and right speakers, which is what happens when things are kind of wider sounding. It gives out of phase signals gives things a sound of width, but it also means that the left and the speakers are kind of fighting each other at times in certain frequencies and at certain moments. And then everything above that frequency is going to be normal stereo. And then the next knob here is the width knob. So it says, okay, well, whatever is stereo, do you want it to sound a little more stereo or a little less? And that might be using like a mid-side kind of algorithm where it's bringing up the sides slightly more. So, so there you go. There's a kind of a quick look at the knobs and features. There's other stuff on here too, like the ABCD, where you can basically set different settings for everything and then save them as A, B, C, D. And then you can click quickly between A, B, and C, and D to quickly compare different settings. So if you're kind of hunting and searching for a sound, that can be useful. All right, so now let me start out by pulling up a preset, and we'll go through the drums and just listen to what it sounds like. And there are some built-in presets here already. So I thought that would be cool for us to just kind of flip through and just give you a quick listen to what some of these things that already come with it sound like, which can be pretty cool when you're just trying this out for the first time and you just want to like pop it on and just listen to your ears and just say, do I even like the sound of this thing? So we'll start out with the drums compact, and let me solo the drums here. Now this is going to be the sound of the drums without the plugin on it, and then I'll engage it, and then we'll flip through the different presets and see what they sound like. So here's the raw drums. Oh, you know what? Let me see where it's starting at, because I'm not sure where it's playing from. Okay, I'll take it to the very top. Or I'll take it a little bit through the intro so that we kind of get to that first verse pretty quickly. All right, cool. Here we go. Raw drums. Okay, and then here comes the verse. Okay, here comes the verse. I'm gonna skip forward to the verse. Here we go. All right, and this is the raw drums, and then here's with this drums compact preset on there, which sounds pretty awesome. It's very over the top. So now just bear in mind, I'm not going through and adjusting these presets. We're just seeing where they start out. And of course, depending on how loud your input signal is, it may hit it in the sweet spot and give it the sound that it's intended to have, or it might be a little bit exaggerated. But that's a pretty awesome sound right there for creating kind of an explosive drum sound. So then I'm going to press play here, and we'll just flip through these different presets and see what they sound like. Drums compact preset. This one's called Nice Balance. This one's called Fat and Shiny. A little quieter too. Let me turn that up. I'm not sure what that one would be for. This one's called Urban. This one's called JD Breathing. You can definitely hear it doing some stuff. This is Parallel Pumping. So I assume you would, oh, and they put the mix at 50% too. So that one was as if you're supposed to have a lot of compression, but it's supposed to be more of a parallel sound rather than 100%. I'll try and pay attention to this mix knob down here because that'll tell you if they meant for it to be like an all compressed sound or if it's blended in. This one's called Pumping Beats. I'm assuming that's for programmed sounds. This one's called Funky Drummer. If I turn up the input too, you really sort of hear it starting to slam that sound. Oh, I might be really hot too. All right, well, I guess we'll find out. All right, cool. So I got to keep an eye on my levels here so it's not getting too hot in the video. All right, and let's see if we got any other drummer ones. Yeah, Wall of Electron. This one's called 808 Rage. All right, so let's see, which one do we like the best? I kind of liked, maybe I'll go back to, let's see, what was it? Funky Drummer. Let's see what that sounded like. Actually, let's go to that first one. Let's go to the first one, which sounded pretty rock and roll, and then we'll just dial it back a little bit. Whoops, here we go. Compact. And back off the compression a little bit. Bring that level down to an appropriate level right there. Okay, cool. So hopefully that sounds like a good starting place for the drums. Let's move on to the bass now. So here's the bass track. And again, this is the Logic Session bass player. And this is just the raw bass to start out. So we'll see what it sounds like at the top. It's a pretty cool sound. I mean, it's really cool that it'll just write a bass part for you. Definitely a fun thing to play around with. All right, so let's turn it up and we'll hear what bass amp sounds like. I'm putting on the auto gain too. Actually, it looks like it turned it off or I just hit the output, so we'll see. Pretty cool, right? Bypassed. With compression. And then let's try some other stuff. Let's try this turning off the tone, cranking the tone, classic and dirty. Right, so yeah, let me go back to the top here again. Nickel transformer, iron transformer. That's pretty subtle. I'm not hearing a huge difference there. You can see here up on this meter, see how it's compressing the lows and it's not doing much to the highs? Very interesting. And the band link is on 15%. If we max that out, now it's like compressing everything. And if we do you know, 7 or 8%, you'll notice it's letting all these highs through above. So that says 536. So this is right now set to 536 hertz. If I click, I don't know what that is. It's okay. Yeah. So if you click on this guy up here, so if I click this, it just moves the crossover handle. But if I click above the handle, there's like a little headphones logo. Then it lets you actually hear solo that crossover frequency so that you can get a sense of like what part of the frequency you're actually making that crossover at. So right now you can hear it soloing. That's moving it up high. That's moving it down into the lows. But like, you know, pretty much where it defaulted, somewhere in 500 or something like that. It's pretty cool sounding. Let me back this threshold up. Okay, so that's very cool, all right? And then let's mess with this emphasis and see what it does. So right now it's on. If I turn the emphasis off, turning it back on. Kind of like it off too, and just on this particular sound, this bass. Let me just back it off. We'll leave it there, but we'll just back it a little bit. All right, cool. And then let's try I don't think we need the mono maker. It's a mono sound anyway. All right, so we'll move on from the bass. Let's go to the piano and see what this guy sounds like. And then let me see. I don't think there were any. Were there any other bass options to check out? I don't think there was a lot. There's a synth bass, but that's fine. We'll just leave it on bass amp because this is for the bass guitar. All right, so moving on to the piano. This is the raw piano sound right here. Whoops, sorry. Unsolo the bass, solo the piano, raw piano sound. There you go. It's the piano. All right, so let's enable this. This one's called piano left versus right hand. Raw piano with the BX glue on it. That's pretty good. Back down the output just a hair. This is the raw piano, kind of unexciting with the compressor on. We're getting a lot of gain boost too. Oh, it's auto gain, that's why. No, that was the auto release, sorry. Okay, cool. So now let's go and we'll just run with that. That sounds pretty good. I've got a piano here in the studio and definitely like, it can sound beautiful on its own, but once you start leaning, moving towards a mix, just the plain piano tends to really want to have some cool compression on it. So that seems like that would be very quick and cool to try. All right, now I've got a BX glue on the stereo bus. So let's just listen to how all this stuff is stacking up. We'll get a quick balance between the bass, the drums, and the piano, and then we'll explore turning it on and listening to some of the different presets on the stereo bus too. So let me mute these guys. We'll start with the drums, then we'll just sneak in the bass and piano. I'll work on this bass sound just a little bit. Okay, cool. Now let me bring in the keys. All right, that sounds pretty cool to me. Oops, sorry, you're not really seeing the keys one now. That's the stereo out. Okay, yeah. Well, you're not really seeing each one right now. We're just balancing. All right, so hopefully the keys sound good. I'm judging it in my headphones. Let me turn these on and off again too, so you hear. Whoa! Don't go no plug in there, buddy. All right, hear what everything sounds like. So here's plain drums, bass, and piano. BX glue on the drums. BX glue on the bass. BX glue on the piano. Also looks like I looped the intro, so let me see if I can get past that and get to a verse for you guys to hear that again. Okay, verse. All right, cool. So now let's listen to the glue, BX glue on the stereo mix here. So here we go. We're going to start out plain, and then I'll drop in this first preset called Compact Glue. So this is plain Jane stereo bus. Here you go. That's with the BX glue on the stereo bus. Already like way more interesting sounding, right? Okay, cool. So now let's look at some of these other presets. So starting out with Compact Glue, and then I will just flip through the presets. Compact Glue. Master Glue. And I'm adjusting the threshold slightly, just to taste, you know. This one's called Wide and Airy. And you can see it got a little bit wider on the cymbals down here because you'll see this width knob at the bottom got adjusted slightly. And this one's called Shining. And you can almost hear the cymbals kind of dancing around a little bit on the ride cymbal. This one's called Acoustic Performance, so it's probably not the right one for this song. All right, let me go back to the top again. Let's go to Clean GP Tape. And again, let's go back to the raw sound. This is before we started. And this is with the BX glue on it. I mean, you can just hear it just comes to life. You know, I'm in headphones, but you're going to be on speakers. Hopefully you hear this even on an iPhone, speaker, whatever you're listening on. Here's Driven GP Tape. You can hear it starting to crunch. Yeah, let's just jack this up and really hear. Add some crazy distortion if you really want to like crunch it. And that's that XL feature down here in the tone area. So if you really boost the XL in the tone area, then you get more of that crunch on there too. All right, moving on to the next one. Smooth Tape Transients. Again, here it is off. And then there it is with the smooth tape transients. You just hear it just comes to life. Sticky Glue. Aggressive Glue. Some subtle differences here. And of course, you know, flipping through presets only can kind of really show you so much. It does give you a quick sense of sort of what it kind of sounds like. But of course, with any of these, each song is unique. Each track you're doing is going to have its own requirements. And so you're going to have to go in and start tweaking and adjusting each setting just a little bit to make sure it really fits well with your particular use case or your song. But, you know, it's cool to hear all these different examples of it. Let's see what boom bap sounds like on this one. Nothing. Plain Jane. Boom bap. All right, cool. So that was pretty awesome for me to hear those different variations and to just see how it could work on the individual instruments and then on the 2-mix. Again, similar idea for mastering if you just want to use this as part of your mastering final stage. You can use this either in extreme settings or you can use it as like a subtle enhancement to stuff. But let me go back here and take you back. If you want to go check this out, just go over to the Plugin Alliance website, and you can check it out. And I think you've got, so it's a limited time deal. You've got this $99 you can get it for. There's also they got other deals on here too. And I'm sure you can get a demo of it too. I didn't double check what the demo time frame is, but I'm sure you can check it out first and listen to it. And then when you decide that it's going to be a really good, useful compressor for you for mixing, then you can go pick it up. That's the way I like to do it. My advice to you would be, it's always wise to demo one thing at a time. In the past, I've made the mistake of turning on the demo for every plugin that was made by a company, and then I quickly realized, I couldn't actually listen to them all that fast. So just go check it out one at a time, see what you think. And if you're really focused on mixing as well, and you want to get some more of the basics for how to take your mix from sounding like kind of a home studio basement demo to sounding a lot more like a professional mix, then I have a free mixing course that I have for you as a gift as well. That's called the Mixmaster Bundle, and it's right in the description of this video, so you can just go click on that as well. So I would highly recommend that you check out my Mixmaster Bundle and go pick up this plugin, or go pick up the demo to start and try it out, and then go pick it up. But don't miss out on the sale cost for Brainworx glue, BX glue, because it's a great compressor. I think it's going to be really useful for all your instruments. I didn't get a chance to do it on vocals yet, but I'm pretty confident that I would love it there as well. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys around the studio. Make great records. Cheers.